All right, the past performances are out. They just drew the Belmont Stakes. This year's edition, of course, going 1.25 miles at Saratoga again. And the number one is Hill Road for Chad Brown. Rod Ortiz picks up the ride. Now, in this horse's U.S. debut, he was still with his European trainer, Adrian Murray, and he come for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And Citizen Bowl went to the lead for Baffert in that race. His stablemate Gaming sat off second. That was the race where East Avenue missed the break. And there was just no pace at all. Other than Hill Road, that race was like a merry-go-round. Hill Road was literally the only horse doing any passing in the race, and he came from 10th to run a really nice third. I mean, it was a heck of a third at 61-1 odds, and from there they left him stateside with Chad Brown. He returned in the Tampa Bay Derby and got absolutely no pace at all in the Tampa Bay Derby. He just kind of languished in the back there behind the slow fractions with no setup, and he galloped out huge after the wire in that race. I was very, very excited to bet him back in the Wood Memorial. He was entered in the Wood Memorial, but on the van ride from Florida to New York, he came off the van, got sick, had to miss a little training, had to scratch from the Wood Memorial, and, he made his return race in the Peter Pan Stakes, stumbled at the start. The Peter Pan, of course, a traditional prep for the Belmont Stakes. Quite a few horses have come out of that, won it, and, upset the Belmont Stakes. And Hill Road stumbled at the start in the Peter Pan and, was able to grind away to a victory on the wrong lead in the stretch, which he's done in all three races. And if he can get that corrected, he could be open to further improvement. Now, will he get it corrected is another story. But Hill Road has the rail, and he's going to need Rodriquez and Crudeau to go out and set an honest pace. That's part one of what he needs. Part two of what he needs, there's three real tough horses in this race, and everyone knows that. And it's Journalism, Sovereignty, and Baeza. And all three of those horses come from off the pace. And he's going to need those three horses to really, some aggressive cat and mouse tactics in the middle of the race. I mean, he's going to need those horses to try to get first run on each other, and that is his shot in this race. He needs the two speeds to go out, set an honest pace, and he needs the three superior horses in this race to do some race riding, trying to get first run on each other, maybe moving a little prematurely, and he's going to lay back there and make the last run, and he's going to get every yard. He will get every yard of this 1.25 distance. His damn Exotic Notion won at 1.25 miles. And, he's out of a Lemon Drop Kid mare. Lemon Drop Kid, of course, won the Belmont Stakes at 1.5 miles when it was 1.5 miles at Belmont, like it's supposed to be. So Hill Road, the distance, not only will the distance not be a problem for him, he's been dying to run this distance. And with that race in him off the sickness, maybe he steps forward again in this race. He's going to make the last move. He really needs things to go his own way, though, as far as the two speeds setting an honest pace, and then the three superior horses in the race really taken out of their comfort zone and cat and mouse, see if I can get the first run on the other two kind of thing. And it's possible that might happen. And if that does happen, Hill Road will be on the ticket. On to the number two, and the number two is the fresh Sovereignty. Your Kentucky Derby winner for Bill Mott, Junior Alvarado rides again, and Sovereignty had been crying out, needing, a real fast pace and needing more distance, and he got both in the Kentucky Derby and capitalized on it. He got clipped heels a bit at the start, didn't have the cleanest start, and was wide, but he really got what he needed in that race, which was a fast pace and more distance, run an excellent race. Bill Mott has cold stats on short rest. So he skipped the Preakness. Mott was saying the Preakness was never a thought for them. I mean, if you look like the last 5 years, he was 3 for 52 on short rest was Belmont. So, I think that really, Mott's had some struggles trying to get horses to wheel back quick. And I think that played a big part of why he was pointed to the Belmont. He's been at Saratoga, training at Saratoga for this, and apparently training very well. Sovereignty is obviously a contender in this race, but this could be a case where, we caught the wedding in the Kentucky Derby. We caught the wedding at 8-1 odds, 7.98 to 1 odds. And, it might be a time to go elsewhere, at least from a value standpoint, because this race could be run more like the Florida Derby or the Fountain of Youth, where there's not a whole lot of pace in it. Now, Saratoga is a little bit more closer friendly than Gulfstream is, generally speaking. The time to bet Sovereignty may have been in the Kentucky Derby, and you may get an underlaid price on him, although he is certainly a contender with a huge chance. The number 3 is the Bob Baffert trained Rodriquez. And here's the thing with Rodriquez. The 2 times he's made the lead going long, he's run really, really, really nice races. His maiden special weight win at Santa Anita, got loose on the lead, won by 7 lengths, and beat Baeza, who is a huge contender in this race. Baeza has obviously stepped way forward since, this race was running January 4th. Baeza has gone forward big time since this race, but still very, very good maiden win for Rodriquez. His Bob Lewis and his San Felipe were, not really sparkling performances. But in both cases, Baffert had another horse in the race that he wanted to go on the lead, and they used rating tactics with Rodriquez because they didn't want him to pressure his more highly regarded stablemate in those 2 races. And the Bob Lewis, the 2-year-old champion, Citizen Bowl, went to the lead, and he was not going to press. He's not going to press his own stablemate. Baffert doesn't want his 2 horses dueling with each other. So with stalking tactics, he runs second in the race, but it was, not a sparkling second by any stretch of the imagination. Then he come back again in the San Felipe, and highly regarded stablemate Barnes. This was a horse that Baffert was really high on at the time. They spent an enormous amount of money for, and they had Rodriquez lay off of him. And, he just got swallowed up by journalism. Journalism ran off the screen from him. Now, the Wood Memorial, there was no other Baffert horse in the race that they liked more, so they just let him roll from the gates. Mike Smith just came out of there and rode him like he was on a quarter horse from the gates, and he got to the lead and, won by 3.5 lengths, posted his best number, and run a really, really nice race. Come out of the race with a quarter crack, and he is the speed of the race, and he's positioned inside of Crudeau, so he's going to go as fast as he can for as far as he can in this race. And, missed some time with the quarter crack. They say that's healed. They say that he's going forward. So this could be just a pure front-running horse. And if Crudeau wasn't in this race, you'd have to really think long and hard about maybe taking a shot with Rodriquez, because other than Crudeau, there's no horse that can really keep him honest early in this race. Rodriquez, unfortunately for him, has Crudeau in the race to at least keep him honest on the front end. And he's got an interesting look to him. Just because his 2 races where he made the lead, he run really, really nice races, and he's going to make the lead in here. Mike Smith's going to ride him aggressively. This looks like a front-running type horse, and front-running type horses do not want to be rated off the lead going 2 turns. So he's going to get his trip in the race. He's got a puncher's chance. The number 4 is Uncaged for Todd Pletcher. And this really just feels like, Mike Rapoli wanted to be in the big dance and wanted to get those good seats. And, hey, who can blame him? It's he's heavily invested in the game and, wants to be seen in this race, and he gets the good seats and everything. But Uncaged just does not have the one thing about Uncaged. He's run twice on muddy sealed tracks, and they were both nice little races. I mean, he won his debut at 5-1 odds, and he won an allowance race at Aqueduct where he was bumped at the break and had to come wide. He wasn't the favorite. He won nice. But his two fast track races were performances that are going to get him absolutely crushed and dusted in this race. So maybe if he catches a muddy sealed track, he can run somewhat respectable, but it's even if the track's muddy, he's just not up to these horses. So Uncaged is a complete throwout for me. The number 5 horse is Crudeau for Todd Pletcher. Won the Sir Barton Stakes wire to wire. Now, the other speed in the race was the third place finisher Invictus, and Invictus had early trouble. It didn't get away cleanly from the gates, and Crudeau kind of got the lead in there without having to fight as hard as it looked like he was going to have to fight on paper. Run a nice race, won by 7.5 lengths, but he's just got to improve so much here. And I only see him as a pace factor. I see him as a horse that's quick enough early to keep Rodriquez honest. I think he's going to try to sit about a length or two off of Rodriquez, sit second on Rodriquez's outside, and get what he can get. And unfortunately for people that like Crudeau, I just don't see him getting anything. The number 6 is Baeza for John Sheriffs and Flavian Pratt. Good connections there for sure. And he ran a good third in the Kentucky Derby. And, he was really running under the wire. He almost caught Journalism for second in the race. And I would have vomited if he did. I needed him third there with Journalism. Anyway, so a lot of people don't know this, but in the Santa Anita Derby, Baeza actually got a better sheet number than Journalism. He was wide through you see here, 4 wide through the first turn, and he was wide through both turns actually, and run a real sneaky good race. Only got beat 3/4 of a length, and that was over a very tiring Santa Anita track that day. So Baeza is rapidly improving, and he's in the hands of one thing about John Sheriffs. They fire for him on the big days. I mean, he really knows how to point a horse to a race, and Baeza is a serious contender in this race, and it would be quite phenomenal if he wins. I mean, his damn Puka, this is wild, but she was the dam of Mage who won the Kentucky Derby. And Puka was also the dam of last year's Belmont Stakes winner, Dornoch. So Dornoch won this race last year, and that's absolutely mind-boggling. A mare, you only get one shot a year with a mare, only one horse. Yeah, and you only get one shot when you're a mare. You hope to have a live full hit the ground that year, and 3 years in a row, Mage first, Dornoch next, Baeza this year. If he wins this race, that is just going to be one of the great broodmare feats of all time. So Puka's got the magical uterus there, and Baeza is a factor in this race, a strong contender. And, that 4-1 morning line looks pretty interesting. Whether it holds or not, we'll find out. The number 7 is the mighty Journalism for Michael McCarthy. This horse is going to dance every dance. You love to see that. He was in the Derby, came back in the Preakness. He's in the Belmont Stakes. Love to see that. And we've talked about journalism so much, that there's really not a lot I can say that haven't been said in previous videos. But he's drawn well in post 7, and they got him 8-5 on the morning line, but it looks like the lines that are being set in Europe by the offshores over there, they've got Sovereignty a slight favorite over there. We'll see how the betting plays out. But journalism is always going to be a factor. So, I mean, he is quite a horse, and everyone knows it. And finally, the number 8 is Heart of Honor for Jamie Osborne. 5th in the Preakness, was a little fractious in the gate and kind of won pace, passed a couple tired horses in the race. A little extra distance might help a little bit. But this horse just seems hopelessly overmatched to me. I just don't see him being on the tickets or any factor at all. He'll just pass anything that gets tired and stops. That's about it. So that is your field for the Belmont Stakes. We're going to have a lot of content this week, hopefully, and I'll get into, more handicapping insights on the race. And, they just drew this race. I want to look at it a little more, but I wanted to give you guys just a look at the PPs and an overview, just a general overview that I have, but I'll have plenty of betting opinions for you later on. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a nice day, and really, really looking forward to what should be a great matchup in the Belmont Stakes with the Derby winner Sovereignty against the mighty Journalism. Baeza fresh for this race too. Rodriquez trying to steal it on the front end, and Hill Road going to be way in the back trying to grind away on that left lead through the stretch. And he's going to need a lot of cat and mouse in the middle, but this is going to be some race to watch. Have a great day, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll have a lot more later on. Thank you.